So much has been said by Ayokami. So I would really love to add on the regional committee member. So first of all, there are a lot of uh, uh, career, personal development. First of all, there are a lot of uh, uh, career, personal development in terms of like there are several causes that we have been able to join as the regional committee, just to understand on how we could communicate with people, on how we could support the CR team, the application. So it's really nice being a regional grants committee, and that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Eben, Ayokami, and Aristide. And we will be putting out a call in the last week of November to start bringing in the next cohort of committee members. Committee members serve 2 years, and we want to make sure as part of the transition process, moving from one committee to the other, that we do have, a team. And like just to build on what Eben said is, we recognize that there's a lot of skills, community, community to support your community interaction, assessing how different communities engage with each other, assess opportunities, address challenges. So you're not going to, just come into the committee and feel like you're not supported. We will support you in the whole journey. You will have the benefit of participating in different courses. There are different courses they've participated in. For example, there's one called Core Solve, about how do you solve for conflict. I remember the others. But how do you assess opportunities? How do you assess impact? You don't have to be an experienced Wikimedian. We're looking for newcomers because you bring, some fresh, new ideas, and we want to make sure we're creating room. Non-affiliates, again, committing to, we will meet you where you are in the different ways you're organized. Rapid funds have been a key factor influencing the increase in grants in the region. And I did point out here that the 5% of the global funding given, 5% of the global funding, which is about 135 grants, is going to Nigeria. So there is something to discuss. There's something being done right in terms of grants access, but there's a bigger question about, can that be tapped and enabled to, to have more impact? Are we feeling that impact? Can we do more? I would hope in the discussion stage that we can discuss that a little bit more. I can see Bobby checking time. And we do have new grantees joining the more long-term funds, so moving from the rapid funds, which are more quick to access, short-term, smaller grant amounts, moving to the general support fund, and we've supported a conference grant. And I do want to mention the two new funds, the Wikimedia Fund. This is a fund aimed at mission-aligned organizations that can, from the ecosystem that can contribute to our goals. And in the room, we do have Dr. Nkam from AFLIA, whose work has brought in many new people to our movement, and just that it's bringing new audiences, but also supporting in particular capacities as well, and that's the beauty of the Alliances Fund. We also have others such as Afro Curation, led by Moleskine Foundation, that has been a fantastic project, and out of that project, do have, for example, the community from Mozambique really coming up and thriving, which is, when I think about it, maybe we wouldn't have had them, why not for those intentional capacities and focus by Moleskine Foundation, and others. And we do have, I have to mention this one, we do have the North American Media Academy, whose main purpose and main goal is to activate the community in Libya, which has been a little bit dormant. So all this is to share the opportunity around, if you see a great partner, for example, in your community, let's talk, introduce them to us. Rudolph is over there, and Felix as well, who can support us in thinking about how do I approach these potential partnership, for example, because they have something that we can leverage, and we have something that they can leverage. And a few regional highlights to speak to what has been part of this work being done. I'll just quickly go through them just because of the interest of time. We do have education projects. One of them, the first in the region, was Reading Wikipedia in the Classroom by Wikimedia Morocco. It's a great project. We now have Kenya, Nigeria, DRC joining this cohort of Reading Wikipedia in the Classroom certified trainers. Feel free to speak to them to learn about their experiences and how this program has enabled them to work with education partners in their countries, so that you can be part of the next cohort. And I know Melissa is somewhere. You can learn more about the program from her and Sailesh. We have Wikimentor Africa, and why I put this example here, it's by Igbo Wikimedians, is that this was initially an idea from a member within an existing user group. And instead of the member who is here, Benedict, choosing to, work on it by themselves and bring other people, they sought to reach out to the user group and say, is there an opportunity here for us to work together? And now Wikimentor Africa is a fully fledged, well-supported, well-resourced program within the Igbo Wikimedians. All this to say, if you have an idea and you're part of a user group, bring it to the user group. You don't have to walk alone and try to figure things a lot. There's a lot of benefit in working with an existing structure. Wiki in Africa has a fantastic program called the Wiki Loves Women. Again, this program is a leadership development opportunity, but also seeking to address particular gaps in knowledge around women in the region. And why I highlight these is to just showcase how different programs have allowed us to have more, leadership development opportunity for existing Wikimedians in the region, but also an opportunity to bring new members to feel like I feel equipped and I can start something as well. And from this program, I know of, people who participated in the program. We have Afek, we have Candy, we have Carol from Kenya, and these were new people, apart from Afek and Candy. Carol, for example, was a very new Wikimedian, and through this opportunity has been able to have that confidence in being part of the movement. Wikimedians of Arusha is an example of a non-affiliate kind of organization, and we have been supporting the program. I just put an example of one of their projects, One Lib, One Ref, but all this to show that you don't have to be affiliated to be supported by the foundation in your work. And then offer Open Foundation West Africa, being very intentional about capacity building with a train of trainers initiative, recognizing that there's a need as we grow our awareness in the different countries we are part of. We're bringing new people, and we need to support them in learning the technical skills about what is the Wikiverse, so how can I contribute, what are the different projects, and they've done a fantastic job on that. And Wikimedia Nigeria with an excellent project on oral history documentation. We've been talking about tapping into other forms of knowledge, and Wikimedia Nigeria has done a great project on oral histories and that documentation. Please speak to them to see how can we work together. Can you partner with each other? Can they share their learnings with you in the process of doing something similar in your country? And other projects include, around developing languages. I think we all know in the last year we've seen, very new languages. They're small languages, but they're there. We have development of Hausa, Tiab, Kenya, Rwanda. There's so many. Lingala, there's so many. So we've seen the resources, the funding, support developing new languages, awareness creation, advocacy projects such as the one being done by South Africa about copyright law amendment, culture and heritage, youth engagement. We have Wiki Vibrance that's doing that. Community building, organizational development, and we will talk more about that, seeing an opportunity for more intentionality on who are we as an organization, as a community. Is there an opportunity for us to develop needed capacities to make our structures more stronger for the growth we want to have? And many more, including bringing in new Wikimedians. Yeah, we did see one Wikimedian here from Namibia. We do have one or two people from Mozambique, South Sudan, Senegal, Sudan, Burundi, Niger, Burkina Faso, Central African Republic, Gabon, Togo, and others. And these all speaks to the incredible work that you're all doing in passing on the message, and that way the region is growing in its work. And you may be wondering, when we think of participants, editors, and organizers, what is this contributing to? And these are just targets, yeah? So I do want to mention that these statistics are speaking to last year's proposals by different organizations. So we will be looking to assess the reports they make and see you had an intention of bringing 12,000, for example, participants in your projects. Did you achieve that? 690 organizers, that's a big goal. Did you achieve that? And comparing it to some of the statistics Dumi shared with us, and we can reflect on, did we move the needle a little bit closer? So next year, in the next WikiIndaba, I hope to come and share as well that this is how much we have moved, and comparing with the statistics Dumi shared, that we indeed have moved from, I think it was 169, maybe we are at 200, or maybe we are at 1,000, and lastly, another key outcome is the Let's Connect peer learning program. Like I shared, it is an open, it is a safe, it is a flexible learning space where Wikimedians are coming, getting connected to either an organized group, to another individual with a particular expertise, to an individual who's seeking to learn. And this also allows us to have that human connection that we naturally seek, but also that allows us to feel supported as well. So if you're interested in learning more about Let's Connect or being part of Let's Connect, either as a sharer, you have knowledge that you'd love to share, please let me know, or if you are seeking to learn, please let me know and I will share how you can register as well. And how have we aligned with the movement strategy recommendations from, the four, sorry, before we clap for ourselves, again, making sure we have ensured that, equity is experienced and is realized in decision making, contributing to sustainability of the movement, investing in skills and leadership development, and I want us to explore this a little bit more. Managing internal knowledge, and I remember Anas mentioned this, so being very cognizant that we do have a lot of knowledge within ourselves, so how do we make sure that people are able to access that, and how intentional are we about making sure that they are aware of where to find that knowledge as well. And lastly, taking the approach of evaluating, taking time to learn, iterate, and adapt based on the needs that are emerging. So, I think we should take a moment to appreciate ourselves for all the amazing, amazing, amazing work we have done. All this is because of you, is because of others in your community, and it's because of the partnership we hold together. So let's keep at it. And to the reflection part, we did notice a few thematic, themes coming up that we felt we need to take time reflecting on these issues because, number one, they have been the same thing that have enabled the progress we have made. But at the same time, recognize that if we paid more attention, if we dedicated more resources, if we took time to discuss them, they could move us even further in our planning. And all these, coming back to the theme of Indaba, it's leading us towards the implementation of 2030 strategy, and we are moving together. So the first one is about capacity building. And I know we've talked about this topic everywhere, yeah? Every day we've talked about capacity building, which means then it is, indeed, we are validating the importance of it, but also the opportunity it poses to us. And in terms of capacities we have seen contributing to the progress, number one is just creating space for people to learn about proposal writing and report writing, knowing that this is a skill that we can't assume that you just. So we have had several office hours, including some Let's Connect program, taking people through in terms of thinking what makes a really good proposal. And this is also aligns with what we're looking at for when we're reviewing proposals. Is there clarity on the impact that you want to achieve? Is there capacity? Do you have the roles needed to actually implement the project you're doing? And then expanding staff. We've seen, for example, with Arusha Wikimedians, taking time to think about do we have what it takes to implement the work that we have? We have programs to develop wiki technical skills. That's by Global Open Initiative and Open Foundation West Africa. Establishing governance structures. We do currently have 2 communities, Wikimedia Uganda and Wikimedia Cote d'Ivoire, embarking on a strategic planning processes, recognizing we need to take a step and think about when we look at our future, how do we want to be organized? How do we remain accountable? How do we, to our community, what structures can we put in place for transparency, but also that we're thinking about the sustainability of our community beyond today. Operational capacities, we have examples, for example, from Uganda, them just migrating from, to QuickBooks, which is a more sophisticated to support in, and we've talked about this sometimes, different partners want to know, are you a registered organization? And that allows you to form partnerships. I've talked about strategic planning, reducing language barriers. I know Open Foundation West Africa has been thinking about, for some projects, bringing in interpretation and translation support, and storytelling using platforms such as DIF and social media. But we do feel and see that if we were to dig deeper on or spend more time on these skills, we would move forward. The first one is, and we've talked about it, organizer skill. Being an organizer takes a lot. So spending time to pass on or build the capacity of organizers. And there's a fantastic project coming up in the future called the Organizer Lab. Am I allowed to announce that? The Organizer Lab. So ask Felix. Proposal and report writing, we still need to do more on that. Organizational health and governance structures, organizations, affiliates, user groups, different forms of organized groups. We are encouraging you to take time to think about your healthy governance, financial structures, staff management, and the others on the list, including monitoring and evaluation. And we have different roles that we have indicated, but the discussion part is here that I want to invite you to be part of. When you think about capacity building, what have you seen that has contributed to the progress in the region? And what have you seen in your different communities, countries, that you feel we need to introduce this as part of efforts in capacity building? Could be on either of those listed capacities, or it could be something else. So turn to your neighbor. This is where we go to turn to your neighbor and take a minute to discuss what have you seen that has contributed to growth in capacity. Or maybe we just take, it's Bobby.
Yeah. I give you 30 minutes.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, 30 minutes. Yeah. Because people arrive late, so I'm giving you 30 minutes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'll announce that to the community.
Oh, thank you. He's generous. 30 minutes. So we can discuss, no pressure, yeah? So 10 minutes per, I have 3 recommendations, capacity building, and the others, I don't want to bias you already. So turn to your neighbor. The question is, when you think about in terms of capacity building, what have you seen that has contributed to the progress in the region in terms of our capacities, that this capacity has allowed us to make the progress we have made? But also, what have you seen, or you think, or you have an idea that we can explore, that we need to introduce in our work, and especially with regards to the region, that can push us forward, can catalyze that impact? Yeah, so that's the question. Take a minute to reflect, talk to your neighbor, and then we'll do a quick mic around. And we did pose an idea, sorry to interrupt, that maybe we can work, this is an idea, working with foundation-funded partner organizations to provide that capacity. Yeah, so that's an example, that we find the partners and we just connect you. It's an idea, but we don't know. You know best. So think about that as well. Time to share. Very good, Eugene. Okay, my friends. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Deliver it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So it depends. It depends on the goal. Is the goal retention? Is the goal awareness? And then just so also recognizing sometimes you can be in a training and they'll get it and that's it. They don't need any further support and they'll be okay. Yeah? But if we're keen on we want this person to continue contributing to the sum of all knowledge, then that support is needed. And in other places maybe it's not needed. The person just continues. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Hi. Hello. Hi. So I'm Eugene from Open Foundation West Africa, and then we are having a very interesting conversation over here. So with regards to capacity building, we at Open Foundation West Africa annually have the Train the Trainer session where we train potential leaders, and then we host them for about 3 or 4 days, and then we teach them about basic stuff about the Wikimedia space, so leadership skills, and then we even train them on some Wikimedia projects. But our question is that with our very first version of TOT, we realized that some of the people that we trained during our capacity building, training session, about half of them didn't implement what we taught them, and then half of them actually implemented what we taught them. So our question is that how do we identify potential people that would actually, implement whatever that is taught during these capacity building trainings. So let's say we organize a hackathon or probably a Wikimedia training session, right? And then we have about 20 people. What's the probability that out of the 20 people, about 80% of them are actually going to go out there and then continue contributing to Wikimedia projects? So basically that's the discussion that we had. Thank you.
It's a question on, continued participant support or retention. So maybe there is a need for capacity for anyone who's figured out this is how you ensure continued engagement. It's something to I want to say crack, yeah. Any other table that wants to share the things that came up from your table? Yes. Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Benedict Ude from the Igbo Wikimedia Usergroup, and you heard I mention Wikimedia Africa. I just don't want to share immediately what we've discussed here. I want to just maybe add through a suggestion to them, which is where I feel our initiative of mentorship comes into play, because we've gone through that route of the 2 to 3 days training and then leave them. So for us, we feel going through the route of mentorship where you attach them with someone, you pair them with someone that is experienced, and then not just pair them and leave them, but what we also do is check up on them. What's the progress? How's it going? Do you need any support, any help? It's kind of like they are hands-on training. For us, we are focused on technical things. So they are building things. They are contributing technically to Wikimedia. So that seems to sustain them. And when you've built something yourself, you've gone through that experience, you learned, went through the whole training process of hands-on, build something cool, you tend to want to build more. It becomes easy to solve problems. So I just wanted to throw that there. As to what we're discussing on this table, I don't know, Tochi, you want to take?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tochi. I'm from the Igbo Wikimedia Usergroup as well.
So I actually do have a whole lot of things to say. First of all, buttressing on what Benedict has just said, mentorship is one way that would help our capacity building go deeper, as well as become more sustainable. So this simply means that we're not going to just train people and throw them off, because they might end up forgetting, or they might end up not being interested anymore. But when they have a mentor that is holding them all the way, probably for like 3 months, 6 months, depending on how much they themselves and the mentors want, this would help to build their interest, because they are watching someone who is already doing this. And they are also trying to keep practicing to be able to do something better. And if it has to do with maybe being organizers, they themselves can also become organizers, as well as training other people. Now, another thing I would like to talk about in regards to the African region and capacity building is, I feel in this region we lack awareness. Now, if we can create more awareness, or maybe if we have something dedicated to awareness creation, we have 54 countries in Africa. In Nigeria alone, we speak over 520 languages. So there's just a whole lot to explore in Africa. And Africa still remains a very large region filled with very much younger population that is still very much untapped by the Wikimedia Foundation, and as well as the Wikimedia movement. So if we can go through this awareness creation, you first of all let them know what we are talking about. Now, if they get to know, you can start training them and building their capacity to be able to build the capacity of others. If they don't know, they would not know. So when you go to start building capacity and you tell somebody about Wikimedia, or like my trainings where I go to maybe totally new places, and then I'm like, Wikimedia, and you're like, oh, are you sure you're not making a mistake? You don't mean Wikipedia? And I'm like, no, I mean Wikimedia. We have Wikimedia, the movement. We have Wikimedia Foundation. So all of these, we need to make those things clear in this region. Now, when we are done with that stage, we can now come back to build their capacity. Now they already understand the surface level, and now we can now build the capacity in the various projects we have, which any of them can key into. And this is one thing I like our the Igbo Wikimedia Usergroup for, because this is what we try to do. Now, when we are also talking about capacity building in terms of both partnerships, trying to link the communities with partners, coming from my residency position as a Wikimedian in residence at Moskin Foundation, we also, for this new grant cycle, we are trying to, as much as possible, try to get wiki communities to have Afro-curation programs with partners, cultural partners, institutional partners, which can be educational institutions. Now, Afro-curation program is not just a normal editathon. It has a cultural touch to it. And this cultural touch to it has to involve either an educational partner or a cultural partner, which can be, for South Africa, we had Constitution Hill. Mozambique, we had Rovuma University. We had Etale Publishing. Now, these partners help to make the team, like they help to build into the vision. They help to expand the team. And then they also help to work together with these communities, and we're not standalone. We have other people we can still work with after these Afro-curation periods. Now, we try as much as possible. Sometimes you, as a Wikimedia community, you can decide to maybe mention the various organizations, cultural organizations you want to work with, and then we can take it a step further to reach out to them for you. If it doesn't work, we can go through maybe the, should I say, the presence of an international NGO kind of trying to reach out to another non-profit to be able to collaborate with the communities. Now we come to work together, and when we do capacity building, there is sustainability. So when we are trying to do all of these things, I feel we need to gather the area of awareness. If there was no awareness in Mozambique, and if there was no follow-up capacity building, and still following up and following up, the community wouldn't be where they are today. At least this is one community I'm very much proud of. I talk to them, I get to mentor them, and I still hope to do a whole lot for the African region as well. So if we can go through this route, I believe that we will achieve a lot as Africans, and then our capacity building will go deeper, and then we'll be able to achieve sustainability. So we don't just do, just like the Misani used to call it, helicopter projects. We don't do helicopter projects and then We'll zoom off. Thank you. Thank you. Any one new idea? One new idea? Briefly, so that we can move to the next one. Okay, we're just talking about a project that the foundation is doing, which is the Wiki for Human Rights project. And I happen to participate in that project as a fellow. And I must say that the project really, really built my capacity in so many ways, especially as an organizer from Ghana. And it gave me a broader perspective of how different communities work. And so if I'm coming back to Ghana and doing Africa Wiki Challenge, it's already given me that network of working with different communities, understanding how they do their work. It also opened a lot of partnership for me, especially when it comes to the environmental space. And we are talking about topics of impact. And so we had the opportunity to get environmental organizations in Ghana partnering with us at Open Foundation West Africa just because of the Wiki for Human Rights that I participated. And I think Rebecca also had some wonderful opportunities that the Wiki for Human Rights gave to her community, and I'll give it to her to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruby. Okay, will you allow me to share the opportunity? Oh, yes. Actually, by organizing a Wiki for Human Rights, there is a successful story behind that. Last year, I applied from the University of Rwanda in Biodiversity and Conservation, and then I couldn't get the admission letter for my master's because my background does not really relate with the field. And then this year, I organized the Wiki for Human Rights and Biodiversity, and I engaged the university department, the master's department. I called them to come and give the community some input, because we as a community, we had content, we had skills to edit Wikipedia, but not everyone who had skills and content for Wiki for Human Rights and Biodiversity content. So it was like win and win, because they could give us that knowledge, that content, how it works, what it is, and we could give them the skills how to edit, how to write articles, improve, and yeah. And then the department picked an interest, and this year they called me that, could you please apply? We included your background in the in the application. Please apply and get your master's here. And now I'm in the first week of the. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, and all the best, and congratulations as well. Isaac.
Okay.
Briefly.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. So, if there's any biggest infrastructure or resources we have in the Wikimedia movement, is human. You know, human are very crucial to what we do. And when we talk about capacity building, it's not necessarily about bringing people together, keeping them in the table, teach them how to edit and all of that. It can be in form of a discussion, can be in form of knowledge sharing, you know, to help them build capacity to be able to, you know, solve a particular problem. A lot of communities, even growing communities, really worried about how to even get people. It is when you get these people that you begin to talk about capacity building. How do you attract new editors? How do you ensure that you have them before you begin to talk about building capacity for them? So, like I said, I was having a discussion with my friend from South Sudan yesterday, and it was like, it's like pretty new in South Sudan. He doesn't even know how to get people. And I said, the Yoruba community did something very crazy, something very weird. And what did we do? We're suffering from the same problem. And we thought about the idea of taking advantage of our readers, people who read Wikipedia, to get them to contribute to Wikipedia. What did we do? We realized that it contributes to English Wikipedia. I mean, they read contents from the English Wikipedia. Why don't you redirect them from the English Wikipedia to also be able to contribute to the local language? We just, you know, display a central notice banner and say, hey, did you know Wikipedia exists in Yoruba language as well? Would you like to contribute? I mean, in less than 24 hours, more than 1,000 people registered to be trained. At that point, we started looking at, okay, how do we build capacity? So this is a kind of knowledge we can share with growing communities and, you know, teach them how we implement all of this. It doesn't have to be bringing them together to do it at all and all of that. So there are different forms of capacity building, and I think this is one of them that we can share with growing communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry, and we will talk about that which you shared, which is great. The second one is something that was also highlighted at the beginning, trying to enhance collaboration and coordination to, number one, in some places to reduce fragmentation, but in other places to actually amplify that work being done. So some of the initiatives we have seen that are seeking to do that is the example I shared on Wikimedia Africa, that creating a sense of openness in communities for people to bring in new ideas, and for that community to say, you know, we haven't done this before, but why not? Let's try, instead of you trying to do it alone. Communities, individuals coming together to work on a particular issue. And we have an example of Wiki Africa, no, to support in identifying specific target audiences. We have Wiki Africa led by Mamos, and from Wiki Africa, we now have Wikimedias supported in Senegal, Burkina Faso, Gabon, Niger, Togo, and all these is some, you know, a few individuals come in and say, wait, there's someone missing. How do we bring them in? And this is just an example of, you know, collaboration as well. Learning and skill building, let's connect, creating those spaces for people to come and share and exchange knowledge. Also highlighting that in the MEA region, for example, in Let's Connect, 61% of participants are from this region, which there's clearly a desire for people to connect and share with each other. So maybe we need to enhance that. And recently I just put a case here of initiatives in Tanzania, Kilimanjaro, and in Kwara, Nigeria, where a group of individuals have come together to say, you're interested in this, I'm interested in this, why don't we come together and learn together? And lastly, seeing communities bring and support micro-granting programs to provide that needed local support to newcomers especially, instead of them coming directly to the foundation, getting a better journey and a better experience by just going to the local user group where they will be better supported. Yes, so for this particular session, we'll just discuss one question, and there's more you can quickly read. But what is one way you think one way you can work with others? We're interested in what is one way you can work with others in implementing your work or in applying for grants? Because sometimes we talk about, we say, you know, we want to, you know, we need more communities to collaborate with each other, to coordinate with each other. How can that be possible? Yeah, what can we do to make that even more possible? So that while we know we need to, but what can we do to actually make that possible? Yeah, let's, Wilson and then Romeo.
Hello, everyone. I want to share an experience that worked for us. I don't know if it directly answers your question. We had applied for, we had an idea, we thought it was amazing. Spent some time in documentation and then applied. And we got a one-line email that said, oh, it's not clear enough, so we're not funding. But we didn't just get discouraged about the idea, because we believed in the idea a lot. So we took advantage of the micro-grant programs by the user groups. So we scaled down the idea to phase 1. And then we applied to the Igbo Wikimedia User Group. And they approved funding, and they supported us to the pilot phase, and also provided some mentorship and assistance. And it was very successful. By the time we were done, we applied again to Rapid. And this time, there was no question. Rapid approved straight up. And I think that's one of the ways members of communities or user groups can take advantage of user group grants, micro grants. If you have a big idea, sometimes it looks really huge, and you think, oh, I need so much resources to execute this. Maybe sometimes the idea might be clear in your mind, but to the reader or to the reviewer, it may not be as clear as you are thinking it is. So sometimes you might need to strip it off to the barest, and then maybe an MVP, and just have something that you can focus on. And when you are able to do that with a little support, then you can go back again to the granting organization and then say, oh, I did this with little support. Imagine what I could do if I had more. And that was what happened for us.
And thank you, Wilson, for sharing that. One of the things we've put here that we also want to continue doing, we did say, number one, consulting and conversations with existing user groups to support that collaboration and coordination, and especially of community members at before they come to us. Can you support them first? Whether it's to pilot, to experiment, you know, to bring a new idea into life. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm Romeo. So I would like to just share a little bit about community and my context around how these collaborations could possibly work. So I want to speak around in the shape of a community that is starting, and of course there are like a couple of communities like us that are actually starting. So sometimes, like in the beginning, when you're starting a whole community, you have this thing in you, okay, I want to do it, like I want to do whatever it can, and the impact should be, it's us and it's us and it's us. But I realize that actually doesn't like cause a lot of impact. So at the end, you find that you're circling around something that you're not even getting the impact out of. So what we did was, as a community in South Sudan, we were able to reach out to so much in the community of Uganda, just for two purposes. So one, as a starting community, that reaching out gave us an advantage. Not only was it around capacity building, but you know, sometimes when you're starting a community and there are these members, if they are not properly aware of what Wikimedia is, just like what Tochi was saying, they won't relate to the vision and why you are actually doing what you're doing. So sometimes why I actually bring other people like from Uganda to be part of the whole thing is so that the people, the members who are new to understand that, this is actually a global belonging. We just not belong as in South Sudan alone. We are people we're everywhere, right? And that has really helped us a lot and has built a capacity around that. So I believe reaching out to a couple of other user groups or even persons who are good in terms of particular projects is good. Like they should do even an online training on Wikidata by some other people, or just Wikimedia alone. Get different types of people, and this can allow a lot of collaborations and also strengthen your members wherever they could be. Yeah, thank you. That's from us.
Thank you, Romeo.
Hello.
And
Veronica,
Zita
hello.
and sorry.
Can I?
Oh, okay, 1 minute. As Zita, Ayla, and we will finish with Shala. Speaking, there's something Romeo has said that we're very curious to learn from you is, what are those steps that you can take or we can take, yeah? Remember, this is a partnership, and this is part of the thought partnership we are always seeking. What steps can you take? What steps can we take to make sure that you are collaborating with others when planning for those projects? Not at the end when you discover, oh, you're also doing a photo walk in this place. You're also doing a photo walk in this place. And you're like, we should have talked before. So what can we do in the planning process or in the ideation process? So as they respond, think of that and let's share as well.
Thank you. That's a very good question. I think that collaborations are really important within our communities. Not only is it effective in helping us work together to produce the best results, speaking from the movement strategy perspective, I think that a lot of collaboration needs to happen around the various initiatives that people are working on. And one way to do that, or a step to enabling collaboration amongst our communities, is to communicate about the work that we are each working on. And I'm really glad to see that the new movement strategy forum is available for people that cannot use Meta effectively to communicate and share about the interesting work that they are working on. It's also so easy to search for what others are working on in the Movement Strategy Forum without you not having to know the technicalities of Meta. And the interesting part of the MS Forum is that you can communicate in whatever language that you are interested in. So I would encourage all of us to be bold and talk more about the project that you're working on. It is in communicating that you find others who are interested in what you're working on, or who have interest or have done similar projects similar to yours. And in sharing ideas or in sharing projects, you get to learn what others have done so well that you can adapt in your community. So that's it, and I hope it was useful.
Very useful. Maybe it's something we can, we're all about experimenting and learning. Maybe we can experiment it, starting with the people in this room, pass the message in your community and say, if you're looking, maybe as you think of an idea, post it in the forum, get a few collaborators, then move to the next stage of, check with your user group. Can they resource it? Can they support it? Then in case they can, pilot it, like Wilson shared. If it needs to grow, then let's go to either the Rapid Fund or the General Support Fund. Ayla. 30 seconds.
Yes, I'll try. When we started out with a lot of the Wiki in Africa programs that a lot of you have been part of, it was very important for us to not to come from a position of scarcity. So not to just go, this is our program, it's ours, and protect it. There are so many people who have the same ethos, the same open ethos as us. There's OpenStreetMaps, there's Creative Commons, and a lot what Romeo was saying was about collaborating with Wikimedia Uganda user group. It's also about finding the Creative Commons people to support you, because then it shows that you're part of a wider community. And I know the big open has been done to hell, but basically try to make, because then it shows that it's not just like a few people trying hard and trying to make a space in your space, but also that it's part of a bigger thing. So OpenStreetMaps, there are Mozilla groups, there's Barcamp, there's all sorts of different ones that you can pull in, and even some of the hubs. And I know most of you know this already, but I just want to make it clear that don't forget them when you start getting further on, because they still are part of that ecosystem. Okay.
Thank you, Ayla. And I would really, thank you so much. I would pose a challenge to everyone in the room. If you have a contact, let's remember I won't say the African philosophy, I am because you are. And when we are powerful. So if you have a contact of an organization that you feel this organization is in other spaces, and in these other countries or communities, there is a Wikimedian community that can benefit from this partnership, make the introduction. That's my challenge to you. Whether it's Mozilla, whether it's Creative Commons, whether from my review of the work that we do, the Swedish embassy is a key partner, especially with Wikigap, whether it's that, whether it's Alliance Française, Goethe Institute, all these partners exist. Remember, we're one movement. So if you know someone and you're like, oh, but you're struggling and I have this partner, let me make that exchange, as we move to the next part. That's my challenge to you from this space. Shola, 30 seconds, serious.
30 seconds. Yeah.
I think understanding the needs and the gap within the movement will really help to catapult why do we need to collaborate and coordination. Sometimes in 2020, we felt that there's need for us to sort out for specific skills, which is women in media, to contribute to Wikimedia space. And when we are looking at it, we also felt that we should not confine ourselves within the space of a particular language. Then we thought of how can we do that within the African setting. And in the discussion, we were able to reach out to one of the leading movements within the women in media in Africa. And in doing that, we understand that we need to move outside our space. So we collaborated with African women on one hand, and also other user group that speaks diverse languages in bringing in women from different languages, different spaces to collaborate on how to train on Wikimedia. So what were we able to achieve? Before now, and I think Sarah happened to be one of the leading examples in that project, Sandra rather. And I'm not sure if we did not think through that line, perhaps we might not have gotten her today. The African she's from Uganda. So what did we do right? We brought together over 6 Wikimedia affiliates in Africa. Wikimedia affiliates from Tanzania, Uganda, Algeria, speaking different languages, and women within that space speaking different languages in Arabic, and so and so by so doing, we're able to contribute to over 4 major languages, the Swahili, the Arabic, the English, and today, quite a number of these women in media are doing quite well in contributing to Wikipedia and its sister project. Thank you.
I'm closing, Bobby. So thank you so much. And that speaks to maybe an opportunity for a collaborative project with all communities in the region. Yeah, there's possibility. I know we do have the campaigns. Some are foundation-led, some are community-led, like AfroScene, WP, and others, Wiki Vibrance. But maybe there's an opportunity to have something that we can all share in that is, that will also tap into like-minded partners. And lastly, and I will give it to Sadiq to share his comment, one comment, not now, is about one other thing that we're seeing is around the opportunity to explore knowledge sharing and exchange. And one of the things we have seen already, we've talked about mentorship programs, we hear a lot. One thing we want to encourage people is, number one, create space to share with each other, be open to share, join Let's Connect, but maybe we can explore something new, a partner learning visit. Is that something that would be useful for you, for example, to see, I want to learn about, I hear a lot about Wikimedia, Cote d'Ivoire, how they have been planning, or Wikimedia Zavibo. Can I go see and see how they're organized as a user group, as a team? And the foundation of myself facilitating those connections. But as you go, along with the rest of your day, a question for you to think about is, what form of knowledge sharing has been the most useful? Yeah, there's different forms, types of knowledge sharing, but what has been the most useful for you, and what is needed to expand that? So the last person, Sadiq, maybe you can share your comment with regards to that, and then I will close.
Okay, can you hear me? So I wanted to speak about just something briefly about capacity building and then community engagement and also collaboration and partnership. I had wanted to speak long ago, but you were not seeing me. So for capacity building, I think what we did as a community is that most of our team members, I've seen that a lot of people struggle to sustain like team members because they are not really open to the Wikimedia movement. So what we do is that we recruit our team members not from anywhere, but directly from the community, those who have worked and have been committed to our cause for a very long time. And then we've been able to allow them to lead projects and initiatives. That makes them feel like they are leaders and they can fully be involved. So that's how we keep our team members and have been able to sustain most of our team members. And if you look at our current program, which is the Dagbani Wikipedia ZA, it's a tele-education program run in Ghana. Most of our facilitators are newbies. They are totally new, and they've been able to sit and speak, teach Wikipedia on TV. It has helped them to grow as individuals, and also they feel like they are leaders within the community. So being open with your team members is one way to keep people engaged and also develop together. For capacity building, we've done a series of capacity building training, and we allow team members to share skills among themselves, and we also invite people from the community who have specific skills, that is like soft skills that our team members don't have, to learn from them. With regards to collaboration and partnership, we've been able to collaborate with the Sagani TV, which is one of the biggest TV stations in the northern part of Ghana. And most of our community members, they speak Dagbani, and are students from the University of Education, Winneba, and Thamaini College of Education. We realized that students who learn the language will have much interest in contributing to the language than just random volunteers. So we've been able to build that relationship with the students at the various institutions. And with regards to partnership, again, we have a user group that takes care of many subgroups. That is the Dagbani, Gruni, Mori, Wali, Sisal. We have 16 languages that we are supposed to be taking care of. Spoken, most of the languages are spoken in Ghana, Benin, and Burkina Faso. So we are just starting up. For Wikidata Birthday, if you see our programming, we were able to bring all these communities together. We don't want to go and celebrate or do everything by ourselves. We're able to bring the Gruni from Upper East, and then students from University of Education, Winneba, who are people like students who teach, they learn the language at school. So they have so much interest in that. So this is how we build our community. We identify people who have so much interest or have direct connection with what we do, and then we empower them. For the Gruni and the Mori languages, we've been able to select our leaders, like one of them is DN Shitobu. So instead of allowing them to do things, we assigned people from the other groups so they feel like they are working together as a team. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you highlight a very important point that when we talk about capacity building is also, number one, staff or team management. Let's talk about it as team management. It's really important. And one question we ask now that we were not asking before is checking: do you have the roles needed? Do you have the team needed to actually implement the project you're doing? But also recognizing the nature of, for example, volunteerism in the region, and recognizing that maybe it might help to have a coordinator role, to support the work, and making sure that that role is well supported and resourced. So, a question for you to think about that I will continue speaking with you about: what form of knowledge sharing is most useful? Please share with us or note it down on the Etherpad. But that's it from me. Thank you very much. Shukran and merci beaucoup.